talk to Gage.
Welcome back to the Engage Oscars. Name pending, we're still trying to figure that out. But this is a series that we started doing on the channel last year, and actually me and my brother Gavin sat on the couch for that one. And we just made up 10 categories to put all the movies that we watched within the year of, for this one, it's gonna be 2025. And then we basically have our own Oscars. We give them awards, each of these movies. And we're gonna do it again because I really enjoy doing it. This time we're gonna be doing them separately. So stay tuned for Gavin's video over on his channel. We haven't convinced Gabriel to do it just yet, but make sure you go check out Gavin's video. I'm probably gonna have links or end cards and things like that, so you can go check that out after this one. And you can find his channel also linked on my channel page as well. So with all that being said, let's dive right in to the Engage Movie Awards 2025. So when starting out an award show, it's always important to look back over all of the movies that have come before this current year. This is a category dedicated to films that we rewatched within the year 2025. So these are movies that we have seen previously at any other point in our life, as long as it wasn't in 2025. And we get to talk about them and highlight them here. Usually this category is dedicated to films that improved a lot upon rewatch, or we gained a newfound appreciation of them, or they just simply hit different. So without further ado, I have 3 honorable mentions before we get to my nominees. Those being Child's Play, the original, Wizard of Oz, and Diary of a Wimpy Kid, Roger Rules. Now, for my actual nominees, my nominees are Noah by Darren Aronofsky, Seed of Chucky, and Skinamarink. And the winner for best rewatch of 2025 for me is Skinamarink. That's a film that improved quite a lot for me on rewatch. I went from pretty much very much disliking it to thinking it's actually a bit of a masterpiece. So Skinamarink, you're the best rewatch this year. So one of my favorite things to find in cinema are films that aren't just the best, but films that surprised me, films that I went into not expecting the world from, and they gave me more. So this category, most surprising film, my honorable mentions are The Leech Woman, The Fake, and A Boy and His Dog. My nominees for most surprising film of 2025 is The Deadly Spawn, Spiders, and Cells at Work. Crazy category. Should I keep on like sounding official for this? I don't even know if I should do that. I thought it'd be kind of funny and fun. For me, I am going to say that Cells at Work is the winner of Most Surprising Award for 2025. Cells at Work really surprised me. Did not expect that one was going to be as good as it was. Me and my wife just were scrolling on Netflix one night and saw it, and it really stood out to us as like, is this good? And then we loved it. We just thought it was such a visually striking film, and it was just a lot of fun. By the same token, we also need to acknowledge the most disappointing films. This is one of only, I think, 2 categories that we have in the show where we acknowledge the films that we expected so much more, or they were so much more, but somewhere along the way, they squandered their potential in our mind. My honorable mentions, or dishonorable mentions for this category that I just wanted to throw out there is Zom 100, Legion, and Life of Brian. However, there were 3 films that were much more disappointing to me personally. So my nominees for most disappointing film of 2025 are Church People, Saved, and Frailty. And the winner by a landslide of most disappointing film of 2025 is Frailty. Frailty was just such a letdown. It built itself up on this amazing premise where things were very ambiguous as to what was actually going on, and it just squanders the potential within the final 5 to 10 minutes. This was a shoe-in to be a 5-star movie for me, but it just falls so hard towards the end. So for me, Frailty is the most disappointing film of 2025. Now we get into some of the technical aspects of films, and this one is one that I'm not super strong in personally, but I do try my best to pay attention to, and that is the best soundtrack. So my 3 honorable mentions for this category is Sergeant Kabuki Man, K-Pop Demon Hunters, and Red Line. My nominees for best soundtrack that I saw or really heard in 2025 is Little Shop of Horrors, Starman, and Paprika. Man, those are some good ones. And I will admit, the Paprika soundtrack is one that I've listened to a lot. I choose to not listen to the Starman soundtrack because I don't want it. I don't want to ruin it for me. And for that reason, my winner has to be Starman for best soundtrack of 2025. And the flip side of best soundtrack, the part of the film that you experience with your ears comes the part of it that you experience with your eyes, the best visuals in the medium. And my honorable mentions for best visuals, and to be clear, this could be from cinematography and editing to practical effects and makeup, things of that nature. Just what was the most visually appealing and striking film that I saw. Honorable mentions are Red Line, Mishima, A Life in 4 Chapters, and The Wrestler. My nominees for best visuals of 2025 is Hellbound, Hellraiser 2, Riki-Oh, The Story of Ricky, and The Deadly Spawn. The film that has to win this for me is The Deadly Spawn is my pick for 2025's best visuals category. It is made on like a budget of like $25,000. Yet it is one of the, if not the best creature feature of all time, in my opinion. It's an incredible indie film that is shocking how good it is, and the creature effects are incredible and way better than you would think based on what I just said about the budget. The Deadly Spawn deserves the category of best visuals to me. I love the rainy afternoon vibe of this film as well, and for me, best visuals is The Deadly Spawn. Now we close in to the people that make these films as memorable as they are. And we start out with the actress of the year. This is the female-led performances that really stuck with us and resonated with us, and we want to commemorate and remember them for years to come. And for me, my quick honorable mentions for actress of the year is You Can Count on Me, Laura Linney in that movie, Karen Allen in Starman, and Jenna Malone from the movie Saved. But my nominees, my 3 nominees for actress performance of the year is Sayori Hayami from A Silent Voice, Julie Delpy from Before Sunrise, and Liv Ullmann from Autumn Sonata. It's a tough one, but for me, the winner of Actress of the Year has to go to Julie Delpy in Before Sunrise. I absolutely love those films. I first saw them this year, and I was just whisked away on that journey. So Julie Delpy, congratulations. And the flip side of the actress is the actor performance of the year. So my honorable mentions that I have to point out is Gage Jackson in the film Gage. I'm joking. I'm joking. It's just my short film. Go check it out. It's on the channel if you want to see that. No, my actual honorable mentions are Jackie Chan in The Young Master, Robert Mitchum from Night of the Hunter. Hurt me that did not make top 3. And Bill Goldberg from Santa's Sleigh. All-timer cheese performance. Now my actor of the year nominees. Ethan Hawke in Before Midnight. I just had to pick one in particular, and I decided to go Before Midnight. Really, any of them could be in this spot. Andy Samberg in Pop Star, and Mickey Rourke in The Wrestler. That's a tough one. Man. I think for me, the winner of Actor of the Year, the performance actor that just blew me away the most and left the biggest impact on me, I have to give it to Mickey Rourke in The Wrestler. Congratulations. I was absolutely blown away by that performance. Now we are closing in on the big final 2 awards that we always go over, which is the best 2025 movie of the year and the best movie of the year. But before we get to that, we have to acknowledge the worst movie of the year. If we're going to acknowledge the best, we have to acknowledge the worst as well. And here are the unfortunate nominees. My dishonorable mentions are Hamilton, The Mastermind, and Hellraiser Deader. There are worse movies than these, and those are my nominees. They are Plankton the movie, an absolute disgrace upon the SpongeBob brand and name. Raptor. It is literally segments of other movies stitched together. It is a lazy hack job, very efficient, but a very, very horrible movie. And Hellraiser Hellseeker. Y'all saw the video on the channel. You know how much I hate this movie. I really thought it was going to be Raptor. For most of the year, I thought that's what it was going to be. But if I'm being totally honest with myself, worst movie of the year award has to go to Hellraiser Hellseeker. It is probably the movie I hate the most that exists. I think it is lazy and cheap, and it annoys me quite a bit. So, Hellraiser Hellseeker, go freak yourself. That movie sucks. So here we are, the final 2 categories, the big ones of the year. Before we go into every movie of the year that we ever saw, and what is the absolute pinnacle, the best of the best films that we saw within the year, we want to highlight films that we saw within the current calendar year. So these films are limited only to films that we saw, or I saw, within 2025 that were from this year, that came out in 2025. And to be clear, I allowed films that had theatrical releases for the first time in this year. So even if it first showed up at festivals, I still allow it into this category. So these are just films that had theatrical releases within this year. That way they have a chance to kind of shine, and because otherwise they wouldn't be in this list, or even in the list from last year either. They would just never get their shot. So that out of the way, my honorable mentions for the movie of 2025, the 2025 specifically movie of the year, is Novocaine, Relay, and Predator Killer of Killers. Congratulations, I really like those movies. They were very awesome. However, there were 3 films that I enjoyed more. My nominees for 2025 movie is The Toxic Avenger, technically 2023, but 2025, the remake, Warfare by Alex Garland, and Blue Moon, Richard Linklater. And the award for my favorite movie that came out in the year 2025 is The Toxic Avenger. It is my favorite theater experience of all time. I will always cherish the memories of going to see this at like 10 p.m. with my wife in a theater full of Troma fans and seeing the Troma trailers the year I got into them. It's an experience I'll cherish for the rest of my life, so I have to give it to Toxic Avenger. And before we close the show, we have to highlight the absolute pinnacle movie of the year. This is the biggest and most prestigious award I can give to a film in this show, and I have so much to say about each one of these films. All of them impacted me in such a deep and grand way, and some of them in different ways, but all of them are incredible nonetheless. So I am extremely happy to announce my honorable mentions for movie of the year. Those being The Deadly Spawn, The Wrestler, and the Before trilogy. Or if I have to whittle it down to one, I'll do Before Midnight. However, there were 3 films that stand the test of time, that stand above all the rest, that I want to highlight to you guys. And let's talk about them. My nominees for my favorite film that I watched within the year 2025 is The Fake from Yeon Sang-ho, Slacker by Richard Linklater, and Starman from John Carpenter. Extremely heavy hitters. When this year began, for honestly most of the year, I was thinking Slacker was easily going to be my shoe-in. It was going to be the one that stood up above the rest. It was one of my favorite movies I'd ever seen. I love the tapestry, time capsule of humanity and passions and what makes each one of us unique in our own right. I adore Slacker for so many reasons. It is my favorite Richard Linklater movie. And The Fake by Yeon Sang-ho is an incredible film that I discovered that's extremely niche. Not many people have seen, and yet it made such a grand impact on me. And it's honestly, one of my favorite movies I've ever seen in my life. It is so bleak and dark and depressing, but it's a film that has stuck with me for its beautiful ending, and the way that it explores religious corruption is something that just hits so close to home for me personally. And I would be honored to eventually make a work of art that is so niche but specific and meaningful as The Fake one day. It is an incredible cinematic experience. And Starman, the film that came to my life at the right time. I talked about in my end of the year ranking this just recently, that I have been struggling with thoughts of, what comes after, what happens, when I pass away, and just thoughts around death. And Starman came at the right time and was a huge comfort for me personally, right when I needed it. It is absolutely beautiful. But all 3 of these movies, head to head, we still have to have one that wins. And for me, the 2025 movie of the year has to go to The Fake by Yeon Sang-ho. I know it's a shocker, but that was the film that made the biggest impact on me, and I sometimes contemplate it might be my favorite movie of all time. So there's the video, there's the list. Thank you all for joining me. I tried to do whatever this was, to be honest with you. I just kind of sat down, and I got bit by like a flying squirrel tonight, and I really want to take my mind off of it, and I was a little worried I'm gonna get sick, but I just kind of sat down and made this and just did it as it is. And I hope y'all enjoyed it. I love making these videos, just like I love making the other end of the year video where I rank every movie, so go check that out if you haven't already. Go follow me on Letterboxd, subscribe to the channel, and here's to a great 2026. But with all that being said, I'll see y'all next time. God bless.